excited to be here with you guys today. We're going to be talking about mastering the art of selling. And one of the things about our presentation I'm going to be walking you guys through today is more of a way to think rather than telling you what to do. As lash artists, you guys have spent a lot of time and money investing in your actual skill set of applying lashes, providing the service. But a lot of today's conversation is about how to actually be the CEO and, more importantly, how to be a marketer. Many of us, well, can you give me just a raise of hands? Who here currently gets clients using social media? Okay, good. Okay, who here wants to raise their prices but doesn't or hasn't for whatever reason? Okay, you guys are still in the right room. Who here is like sick and tired of Instagram and TikTok as well, though? Damn, I'm ready to get rid of it, you know, hit the lotto and just be able to delete my apps and run off into the sunset and be half naked on a yacht somewhere is my preference. But we're going to be talking about mastering the art of selling and understanding the psychology of a buyer and what influences how somebody makes a buying decision. But in order for us to actually talk about messaging and marketing, you have to first understand how are you actually showing up to the table. And this is me as a little tyke. Growing up, I always felt like I was too black for the white kids, but too white for the black kids. I mean, biracial, immigrants. Okay, I know I'm not the only one. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because how you show up, you know, I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. My grandmother raised me. My grandmother, my aunt, I spent a lot of my adolescence trying to fit in. So I became really good at assimilating. Became really, really good at code switching. Anybody came from corporate? Okay, the politics is ghetto, okay? It's ridiculous. But I changed my voice when I was around, you know, I was at home with my cousins at the barbecue. I would talk one way, sound a little bit more like Cardi B and Meek Mill. And when I got around my white friends at school, I was sounding a little bit more like Taylor Swift, okay? My customer service voice, I got a degree from Harvard from there, okay? And, you know, I went off to corporate America. It's a blurred picture here, but I'm an engineer by trade. And then when you get into corporate America, I got really good at code switching. I got really good at understanding the politics, understanding the lingo, understanding how to adapt and evolve to be palatable for the environment that I was in. And I got really good at that. The thing is that might have worked in a lot of environments that you came from. It will be the reason why you do not succeed in business long term. And I want you to think about that as we move into today's presentation, is who are you showing up as? Which representative of you is showing up when you show up online, when you show up and create your content, when you are, you know, preparing to create your videos or whatever it is? Who are you showing up as? And what version of a cultural chameleon have you been? And how much of that is who you actually are? When the camera's off, when the lashes are off, I mean, y'all, we be looking like naked mole rats when we ain't got our lashes. Cue Kim Possible back in the day. Anybody else watch Kim Possible? Yeah! Whenever I don't have my lashes, I just feel like the rat. But either way it goes, I want you to think about that as we're going through today's presentation, because that matters a lot. And mastering the art of selling first starts with you mastering yourself. If you do not have a sense of self, the more that you create content, especially in social media's era today, I mean, like, you can lose yourself very quickly online. I know I have. I've been doing this for 7 years, full time. And I want you guys to think about that, okay, as we're moving through this. There is going to be time for Q&A. So if you guys do have any questions at all, just think about that. We'll make sure to get a mic to you before I run off stage, all right? I want you guys to get the most out of this. So what we're going to be covering today is what influences how people make buying decisions. Not what type of content you need to make to go viral and get followers and, okay? I care more about y'all making money than I care about y'all getting likes and follows. Yeah? Y'all, okay, come on. How to actually align your messaging so that you don't have to rely on paid advertising. There's nothing wrong with paid ads, but when we have full reliancy on it, like with what happened with the iOS update, we get screwed. You know, so I want to make sure that you know how to align your messaging to attract leads through your organic content without dependency on the paid part. Why your content currently right now is not attracting qualified leads, and how to change that. And like I said, we'll have some time for Q&A. One thing is, I do have my presentation deck. If you just send me a DM with the word LashCon, Betty the bot, she's a little automated assistant of mine, will send you my presentation deck so your wrists don't hurt, okay? I know y'all be working hard enough, wrists be, joints be, whatever from the lashes. I'm gonna save you a little bit. So you can just send me a direct message on Instagram at Jerisha Hawk, with the word LashCon, and you get the slide deck, okay? Cool? Awesome sauce. So y'all don't know who I am. I'm not in the lash industry, but just so you guys know that I'm like legit. I've made over $5 million in the past 5 years using free organic content on Instagram and Facebook. Okay? And that's real money. That ain't play money, okay? My clients, which matters more, have made over 20, okay. Oh, am I allowed to cuss here? I don't know. Made over $20 million in the last 5 years using what I'm going to be teaching with you today. Most of my clients, 90% of them, are brown and black women. So I want you to know, and I see a lot of cultural diversity up in here if I'm just judging off of, come on, baby, which I love to see it, but I want you to know that this is available for you. If you have a phone, which I know y'all got, y'all look too damn good not to have I know y'all taking selfies and getting the angles. If y'all have a phone, if you have internet, and if you have a perspective to share, this is 100% available for you, okay? So everything that I'm sharing today is tested and it is proven. This is not theory or something I read in expert.com or something like that. And the biggest problems that I want today's conversation to solve for you is, one, you're creating content just to know that you posted. I know a lot of us, we hear all the time, you need to stay consistent. And some of us get into the rut where we lose our sense of creativity and we are just creating content to just say that we did it. People are engaging with the content, but they're not entirely actually warmed up or ready to purchase. And then we start doing which a lot of us do in dating, we start chasing the prospect. And they haven't responded to my DM yet, so I'm gonna follow up one more time. And I'm gonna start, we don't wanna be the prowlers. We don't wanna have that type of energy. You're ready to show up and actually share your perspective. Maybe you haven't been doing that fully, or maybe your representative has been showing up, but you haven't been. And you don't know maybe where to show up or how to show up or what to actually share. Or maybe, I don't know, anybody else just tapped out, burnt out, energetically drained? I saw somebody's here, she was like, yes, I see you with the glasses and the blazer, yes, I see you. It's tough, creating and showing up, having the energetic capacity for that can be really, really tough. So I want to talk about how we can kind of overcome that and what to do, especially when maybe you don't feel like you have the capacity. So first and foremost, when we talk about lead gen, again, I'm going to be talking to you today as if you are a marketer, not as if you are a lash service provider, okay? There's only 5 ways to generate leads. And this one you might want to write down if you want to, or like I said, if not, just get the slide deck. But there's only 5 ways to generate leads. One is through paid advertising. You buy the lead, you pay Mark Zuckerberg or Adam or somebody online, Google, and you pay to put your information, your content in front of the prospect. The second is through cold outreach. You're either getting a cold list or you're, going to your competitors' Instagram followers and sending DMs to everybody that follows them, whatever it might be. Third is through partnerships and affiliates. You are borrowing somebody else's audience. You are, have a friend, you're doing a guest live stream or whatever it might be, or what I'm doing right now, me speaking on a stage. I'm borrowing Paul's and LashCon's audience to get in front of you. The fourth is through referrals and relationships. Somebody else recommended you. That's how I found my lash artist. We were at church praising and worshiping, and I'm like, girl, your lashes is lashing. I'm like, I know we're in the middle of praise and worship, but girl, who did that? I know, right? Like, come on, G-O-D, help me get my L-A-S-H done, okay? And then, or you create content. You create organic content and you actively put yourself out there. Those are the only 5 ways to generate leads. Well, the 6th is just through favor. You might just have some favor on your life and you don't know how it's happening, but it's just showing up. So that's the 6th way. But which one of the ways has been most effective for you? That is the question or the thought that I want you to ask yourself right now. If you actually look at your paid client roster, which one of these ways has been the most effective way for you to generate consistent and qualified leads? And I want to make sure that you are paying attention to the word qualified. Sometimes my clients will get into this rut where, Jay, I've always done paid ads, and I say, well, how qualified are those leads for you? Are they willing to pay premium? Are they willing to come back a second time, a third time, a fourth time? Are they on time for their appointments? Are they coming with their lashes clean? And so I want you to actually think about what way has been the most effective for you to generate qualified leads and just jot that down. If you don't know, it's something I want you to actually start looking at your data, asking your clients, putting that into your intake form. When the girl lays down or the guy lays down to get their lashes done, just start asking, and I want you to start to collect that data so you can start to see where your effort is best actually spent. Now, if you're making less than $1 million a year, my recommendation is that you just pick one of these mechanisms or one of these lead generation strategies to master. One of the biggest mistakes that I see clients making when they're making less than $1 million a year, and the reason why I'm using $1 million is because I got to $1 million off of free content. In early stages though, when I was making less than 100 grand a year, I was trying to do all of these things. I was trying to run paid advertising and learn paid ads, learn creative, learn copy. I was trying to be on everybody's stage. I was exhausting myself. I was pretty much doing everything, but really getting I was everywhere, but there was no depth. And focus is one of the best gifts that you can give yourself. It is difficult, it is hard. You can go online and everybody's telling you, you've probably been at this conference, everybody's told you to do probably all of these things. And my biggest thing, that's why I want you to go back to your data. Where are you getting your best qualified leads? And I want you to double down on that. And if you commit to that, mastery of that, learning the nuances of it, every single aspect of that one particular lead generation strategy, I promise you, you will get farther in 12 months than what you've been doing trying to do all of that. That makes sense? So I'm asking you to do less, but do less better. So the first truth that I want us to all have to, kind of adopt here is that the sales conversation starts the moment someone consumes your content. And that is a perspective that most of us don't normally think about. A lot of us think that the sales conversation starts after somebody maybe has booked the appointment or once they're on your calendar link. In today's day and age, honey child, consumers are more sophisticated than they have ever been before. So when we think about this, if you think about the moment that somebody consumes your content, like for me in this audience with you right now, this is the first time you've ever seen me, the sales conversation just started. Today, the first time that you heard me speak. So I want you to think about that in relation to your platform. If I were to Google you right now, what content currently exists? Is it good, bad, not good? Are you non-existent? Can I not find you because you have some handle with too many underscores and periods and, whatever it might be. So just think about that. So how will you use social media on a daily basis? This is the first decision I want you to ask yourself and to decide before we leave today, is how will you actually use social media on the daily basis? There's a group of us who use it primarily to consume, meaning that, and I know we're all guilty of this before, okay, maybe I'm the only one, but I highly doubt it. First thing that you wake up in the morning, who grabs their phone first? Okay, I'm definitely not alone. And then we open up, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, whatever your poison is. I see y'all. So grab the Bible app. Come through. Okay. Y'all are better than me most days. I'm not gonna lie. I have to resist the urge to not get on Instagram and aimlessly scroll for the first 37 minutes before I get out of bed. I love that y'all are going to the Bible app first. Okay, praise the Lord. Okay, yes. But many of us get on our phones and we consume, we lurk and we look, and we get trapped. Then, we keep going down that rabbit hole. You start comparing yourself to other people. You're like, oh my gosh, her content is so good. I haven't even posted today. And then maybe that happens. Or you're using it for your own entertainment or education, which is fine. That's part of the reason why social media is there. But you guys are businesses. And the other part of using social media is how are you using it to actually produce content? Are you actually showing your face and sharing your perspective publicly? Is your account actually public, for your business, and are you doing it for authority building? So when I think about, and I want you guys to, how you guys are currently using social media, I want you to ask yourself, one, are you actually sharing your voice? Or is primarily majority of your content voiceover stuff, trending audios, y'all doing a little TikTok dance? I don't know them. I might lose my black card if I try to sit up here and try to do it for you because I ain't got it. Or are you, your voice matters more than anything else. Your prospects do not want perfection. They want to know your perspective. They want your perspective. Even though every single one of you guys in here provides similar service, but basically the same thing at the end of the day, there is a reason why I'm going to choose to come to you versus why I'm going to choose to come to you versus why I'm going to choose to come to you. So in your voice and your perspective being publicly on the platform, again, influences that sales conversation the moment that somebody lands there. So I want you to use your free content to seed, pre-sell, and pre-qualify prospects. This is very different than using your free content to get likes, to get followers, and to go viral. The biggest thing I want y'all to walk away with is that you are not a content creator. Unless y'all are getting fully paid through partnerships and brand partnerships, that's where the majority of your money, is anybody's majority of your money coming through brand partnerships? Okay. Okay, so this is very relevant for y'all then. Y'all are not content creators. Y'all are not influencers. You are a business owner who needs to create content. And that's a very different lens to look at it. So I'd recommend if you get trapped into I'm trying to create the viral content so that I can, get the most amount of reach. One thing that has happened to me is I went viral once. I don't ever want it to happen again. Reason being is because, one, that content was not aligned with messaging that correlated to what I was selling. It's like when you do the dumb thing on Instagram, it's like, oh, this is gonna be cute. Then I post it. Then I'm like, of all the content to go viral, it's that one. That's absolutely not related to my business. It's not related to what influences my prospect and how they make a buying decision. For 48 hours, like myself and my assistant, we spent all of our time responding to DMs from people who were never, they shouldn't even be in my ecosystem. It messed up my algorithm for a little bit. Like going viral, it's a boost to your ego. You feel like really great, like I'm that girl, okay? I called my girlfriend, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going viral. Next day I'm like, delete. So I want you to think about yourself as you are not a content creator. You are a business owner that needs to create content in order for you to attract qualified leads who want to pay and keep coming back. That makes sense? Yes, okay, I heard some deep yeses, okay. The second thing is, what is the intentional focus behind how you create content? And this kind of piggybacks on what we just discussed here a second ago. But either you're creating content from the lens of being a content creator or an influencer. It is trend driven, meaning that you are spending majority of your time saving trending audios, following the social media manager accounts that are telling you, create this specific type of content if you want to go viral and get more followers. You care about high quality production. Y'all are in the beauty space, so production does matter. Aesthetics does matter for your guys' industry. But maybe you're more SEO search, more how-to type of content focused, and more broad mass focus, versus thinking like creating content like a marketer. When you think about creating content like a marketer, you are data-driven. If you are not using your analytics, and like I said, more importantly, understanding the data of the people who have already paid you, I care about that data way more than I care about Instagram analytics. Yes, we care about IG or Facebook or whatever social media platform you're on. We do care about those analytics. But I want to make sure that it is directly correlated to the data of your actual paid clients, okay? And, again, how are we creating that content? Is it from a buyer psychology focus? When we think about buyer psychology focus, I want you to think about, again, and write this question down for yourself, is what influences why and how my prospect makes a buying decision? And we're going to talk about that here just a little bit, too, and go a little bit deeper on that. Are you creating content with one person in mind? I call that your Olympian. A lot of people call that your ideal client. I want you to think about who is my most qualified lead. Am I creating content with that one specific person in mind? And is it specialized in niche focus? In today's economy, I don't know if anybody, I was asking my Lash tech this recently, is that did anybody's business boom, during 2021, 2022, and we're seeing a decline right now? If anybody's seeing that at all? Okay, that's normal. So I want to just level the playing field. That business sales cycles, it's very normal for us to have ebbs and flows. Many of us started our business during an ebb or a peak. So we just haven't experienced a dip. That's normal in business cycles. But if you specifically are noticing a decline this year in comparison to the last two, there's probably an opportunity for you to specialize in a way that you currently have not yet publicly. And I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. That's what we're seeing for our best clients. It's what's keeping me in business right now is specialization. And I want you to think about for yourself, again, looking at your data. If you have not, maybe you've been able to get away with being more broad, more generic for everybody, girl, we do it all, okay? I'll come in here, do your facial, do your lashes, do your brows, wax your coochie, you do it all. And you might do it all once you get them in the door, but I want you to think about publicly, with what I'm marketing and how I'm presenting myself. If somebody were to come on my page, they know the one thing that I am the best at. And I want you to specialize publicly. You can sell other things once you already get them in the door, but we don't necessarily want to market all of it up front. That makes sense? Yeah. So if you've noticed a decline, just look at where could I be specializing more than I currently have been, and trust in that. So create content more like a marketer and less like an influencer is the point that I want us to get across here. And the third truth is that the more premium you want to charge, the more specialized your messaging needs to be. And pretty much everything that I do, the reason why clients hire me is because they want to charge the more premium in. Our clients are selling coaching offers or consulting offers that are somewhere between $3,000 and $30,000 per client. I know that's not necessarily the case for everybody here, but if anybody here does end up wanting to start teaching, creating, educational type of programs, coaching or consulting, this is very much applicable for you. And even if you want to just continue to provide your service, this is still very much applicable to you. Even when I go buy water, there's a reason why I'm willing to spend $5 for an Evian bottle than spending $1.99 on Aquafina. There is a knock to Aquafina. I'm not a fan. But, the more premium you want to charge, the more specialized your messaging needs to be. So I pull up a couple different examples, and I want you to think about this for yourself. If you were in business, and I looked at the 4 primary demographics of people who choose to get their lashes done. Women in their 50s, 50 plus, the reason why they get their lashes done is for anti-aging and for beauty maintenance. I live in La Jolla, baby, okay? The grandmas be holding it down. I'm like, girl, I don't know how old you is, but they come every 2 weeks to get their lashes done. During the pandemic, they was sneaking their lash artists in the back. Some of y'all might have been the ones running through, because they're like, my husband's never seen me without my lashes on. I said, girl, that's a different situation. But that's one particular client demographic profile, right? A 50-plus-year-old, anti-aging, I'm doing this for maintenance. Versus if you're doing this maybe for the bride or birthday girl. She don't maybe never get her lashes done. It's a special occasion. She's doing it this one time. She probably watched I don't know how many TikTok and YouTube videos before she came in. She's absolutely terrified. She's like, how do I get these things off? I want to look great for my wedding or for my birthday or whatever it is, but it's more of a special occasion type of gal. The 4th is maybe your influencer. It's the girl that's constantly on camera. She's a content creator. She needs her lashes done on a regular basis because, she's on camera all the time. Or there might be the woman that's 30 to 50, new moms, professionals, whatever it might be. I want you to think about these different demographics of people who get their lashes, and I didn't include the fellas. I ain't trying to leave them out. Because I know there's some, but these are the 4 that are most common that I've noticed from the clients that I have that do lashes or my lash artists. And I want you to think about each of these individuals. And a homework assignment for yourself is look at the last piece of content you created. How would you have created that differently with each one of these different profile individuals in mind? That is what marketers do. If you are primarily targeting 50-plus-year-old women that do this for anti-aging, they care about something different. There is something different that is influencing their buying decision than maybe the influencer that's 23. Does that make sense? The woman who's 50 years old, this is not about money. She probably very much cares about how clean is your equipment. Can I book my appointment easily for me? If your online booking system is too much, child, she's probably trying to call you or text you to book that appointment versus going on your scheduling link, potentially, depending on how savvy she is, versus the bride or the birthday girl. Maybe she doesn't have as much education around the actual process. She might have way more questions when she's trying to make her booking appointment versus the influencer who does this all the time. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is I want you to look at your own client roster. I know you might have all of these women in your book, but I want you to look at who makes up 70% of your client roster and who makes up the majority of the people who repeat purchase from you. And I want you to pay attention to, again, what is the commonality, the pattern that I'm noticing with those individuals, and is the content that I'm creating, is the marketing that I'm creating aligning with what influences how those people make buying decisions? Does this make sense? Okay, I see y'all nodding and good. So how you appeal and speak to each, again, is totally different. And the reason why I want us to bring this top of mind, this goes back to what I said earlier, is your content is trying to speak to every last one of them. What's gonna end up happening is you're gonna end up making your content more generic because you're trying to use one piece of content that speaks to all 4. Even though they all talk totally different, they receive information totally different. So just keep that in mind as you're evaluating your own content. Are you trying to, again, going back to what we talked about earlier, be more palatable? You're being the code switching chameleon, I don't want to ruffle any feathers, so I'm going to just make this very vanilla. Or are you I'm going to take a stance and make this content specifically for this one type of person? And again, how to think more like a marketer. I'm going to give you guys 5 more data-driven type of questions to help influence how you create content, okay? So the first question, and again, please go do this homework. It'll give you a lot of insight and help you make better decisions with how you create content, how you market, and how you run your business. So the first question is, what percentage of your clients are repeat clients? You need to know what your lifetime value is, what percentage of your clients are actually coming back a second, third, fourth time, and how long they are coming back for. If we do not know this information, you're probably working a lot harder than you need to be. Because a lot of us, who here wants to like double their revenue next year? Triple revenue next year? Quadruple revenue next year? Ew. Okay? A lot of you guys don't need more new clients. To be quite honest, you don't need more new clients. If you can get 50% of your current clients to stay twice as long as they normally do, you can double your revenue. Or if you get the one client, you maybe, whatever it might be, but a lot of the time we don't need more new. A lot of us think we have an issue with lead generation. I don't have enough new leads coming in. I want you to think about, why am I not keeping the leads that I have longer? What do your repeat clients have in common? This goes back to what I just showed you guys a second ago. I want you guys to look at all of what I like to do and what I recommend clients do to make this very tangible is, if you need to, get your 3 best clients and print out a photo of them. Who here is anybody like school supply type people, Post-it note folks? Yes. Okay, y'all are my people. I want you to print out a photo of your best 3 clients, get one of those massive Post-it notes, and ask yourself, what do these 3 people have in common? Why do they keep coming back? What does having their lashes done do for them? Does that help them in their career, have more confidence when they're on camera, help them, I don't know, make the moms jealous at school pickup because, baby, I have it together, okay, at the PTA meetings, whatever it might be, but I want you to think about that. What do they have in common as it correlates to why they are making buying decisions when it comes to getting their lashes done over and over again? What is the reason repeat clients keep coming back? So again, what do they have in common and why do they keep coming back? There is a reason why somebody chooses to do the maintenance. Lashes, this is not no low maintenance situation. This is a full-on committed relationship if somebody keeps coming back. Some people have been going to their lash artist longer than they kept the boyfriend. Let's keep it 100. It's like, girl, every time she comes in, it's like, okay, what's going to happen to Dave? Girl, Dave is not in the picture anymore. I am talking to Tyrone, and baby, he's fluing me out, whatever. And then the next time it's somebody different. But why do they keep coming back? There is a reason why they do. You need to know what that reason is. What influences how they make buying decisions? A lot of the time, every time I talk with service providers, they normally think it's money. That money is not the number one reason that all of your clients are making buying decisions. It is a factor, but it is not the only factor. So I want you to think about, why is this person what influences how they make the buying decisions? Because, listen, I got a cousin, baby, she be done up. Nails, hair, lashes, tanning. Don't matter how broke she is. Her bills might not get paid, but them lashes is getting done. Different set of priorities. You need to understand that, though, about your prospect. If they care more about their lashes being done than they care about their phone bill being paid, you need to understand that psychology. Right. You do. I know, we know, you probably got a cousin too, don't you, okay? So what influences how they make those buying decisions? And that lets you know what they prioritize. And if we know that, again, we can create better content that properly aligns with that, speaks to that, encourages that, influences that. And the last question here is, how did they discover you? And what did they consume while making their buying decision? People do not think about this. Sometimes they will say, it was a referral, my content didn't do anything. 9 times out of 10, when somebody refers me to somebody hey, go check out Jerisha, what they're going to do is Google me. They're going to spell my name wrong, though. But luckily, there's not that many Jerisha, so my stuff always pops up no matter what, however you put it in. And then they go down a binging rabbit hole. They look at my website, they'll scroll through my Instagram, they might listen to a podcast or episode of mine, and then maybe a month later, they'll end up applying for one of my programs. So yes, a referral was how they discovered me, but my Instagram content and my podcast is what they consumed that influenced how they made their buying decision. Does that make sense? So for all of you ladies and gentlemen here in the room, I want you to know the difference between how did they discover you, what was that first point of contact, and then secondarily, what did they consume that influenced how they made their buying decision? And then again, if you know the data to this, you know more than what your competition knows. I can guarantee you, most people don't even know this much information about their clients, which means their marketing strategy is missing a lot of the core data that influences how you get people to actually pay you and over and over again. So here's a little cheat code, okay? 5 questions, a little bit of data, and then if you can use this information to influence what you're creating, you're gonna be much more well off. So first question, again, asking yourself is your content actually addressing the answers to those questions? And if you just did a quick gut check with yourself right now, either yes or no. Yes? No. Nope, okay. No, we got a hard no. Most people aren't, and that's okay. You guys weren't trained to be marketers. I didn't even go to business school. I ain't got no business degree. I had to learn this the same way that you guys are learning it. So it's not like it's a bad thing. Don't shame yourself for it. It's just it's a skill set you need to learn and develop. The second thing here is actually use your content to teach people how to think rather than telling them what to do. This entire presentation is an example of this. I have not yet once told you that you have to do X, Y, or Z. I'm giving you questions to influence how you make decisions for yourself. Because at the end of the day, like, once I'm gone or once you leave this event, like, the best gift you can give anybody is more criteria to help them make better decisions, not to tell them what to do. And the same thing goes for your content. So a last couple of things here for you guys is build a public, bingeable body of work on your social media platform. I don't care which platform you use, but I want you to have a Netflix effect. If I go on Netflix, over the weekend I did this, while I was doing my nails, and it's like, I'm there for 4 hours. I'm just binging a damn show, back to back to back to back to back. I want the same effect to happen with you on your social media for your prospects. I want a notification to come up with them saying, hey, you've been on Instagram for too long, because they've been consuming you for the last hour or whatever their time limit is. So I want you to, yes, 100%. Like, but if you don't have bingeable content, you can't get that deep level of indoctrination that happens if your content isn't actually bingeable. So I want you to think about, if you were to go scroll on your Instagram or your TikTok or whatever right now, like, how long can somebody stay based off the amount of content that currently exists? If I can only stay for 30 minutes because you only got a bunch of 15-second things that are not even your voice, what's the quality of that versus if maybe you have, 30 videos that maybe are a minute long that are actually sharing your perspective? That's going to influence their buying decision a lot better. Second is actually align your messaging with how your prospects are making buying decisions. And I just gave you guys the criteria to figure out what that is. Just make sure that your messaging and your content is correlating back to that. The third is actually show your face and share your perspective publicly. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you go to my Instagram account, it is not aesthetically pleasing. I get in my own head about that because I'm like, it should be prettier, my makeup should be done, I should have my extensions in. Y'all will see some stuff on my Instagram of me curling my wig off, first thing in the morning, after a workout. The reason being is you are selling to human beings. At the end of the day, it's a human selling to another human, doing business with another human. People talk about authenticity and being real. It's like people just want to know who you are. This is how you show up every day. Again, going back to be your real representative, that is what they want. And but a lot of the times we make excuses of like, well, I don't have this together, I don't have this together, and that's why I can't create. That is you are blocking your own blessing. It ain't got nothing to do with the prospect. So I encourage you to share your face and share your perspective, and publicly, whatever that might be. And just test it out. If you've never done that before, try going live for 5 minutes. You can leave when you leave this session. Just go online and just share about what you learned at this event as a way to practice. If you can FaceTime, you can go on live, okay? That is pretty much everything I have formally prepared for you guys, but I did want to hold space for questions. I have like 7 minutes. Anybody? Thank you, guys. Thank you. But are there any questions, comments, ahas at all? I think somebody has a mic for you. Can you maybe start, and I'll just repeat the question?
Would you recommend sending an email out with like a poll to kind of get those questions answered by your current clients, or would you just recommend doing it yourself and playing that game?
Yeah, so she asked, would I recommend sending out an email with a poll or like a survey to my clients, or just asking them directly? I would do both. So if you already have your existing client base, those are 5 like quick questions. I might maybe consolidate it down to 3 or whatever it might be. You could send a text out to some of them like, hey, or what I would recommend probably is like look at the 5 best clients that you already have really great relationship with and say, hey, my goal for this year is to be a better service to you. Do you mind giving me a little bit of information or answering these few questions to help me improve the quality of the service that I'm providing? So I would frame it where I wouldn't say, hey, y'all, I got this survey, can you answer some questions? I would frame it where it's of value to them, and them giving you that information allows you to serve them better. But I would do both. Like if there's some people you already know top of mind you can ask, definitely go do that. If you're like, I have maybe you got a large roster, I'm rolling 100 deep or something, send out the email, but make it just a really easy form. And if you want, you can give some incentivization of like, hey, I'm gonna pick somebody to get a free lash set if they want to, if they do this. But I think most of the time, if you just ask, they'll just directly tell you. But really, really great question. I think there was somebody here in a blazer. Maybe not. Over here? Okay. Oh, this is cute. Y'all got little pom-poms. Oh, that's cute. Go ahead. That was smart, y'all. That was smart. Hold on. You did what? What happened to your life? I think they got the wrong mic hooked up. AV guys, I think we got the wrong mic hooked up. See, real life be happening in real life, you know? Yes.
And this session has been really perfect for me trying to really perfect where I am. So I wanted to say thank you for your personality. Thank you for bringing this to life.
Oh. Thank you for seeing me. It took me a long time to be this comfortable being myself. So thank you. Oh. This is so cute. I want a little pom-pom. Go team. Were there any other questions? We have room for maybe like 2 more. I think one right here. Woo, get them steps in, girl. You got it. Doing good. You looking good too. Thank you. You guys are so nice. If you ever want me to come back, just please. I love you guys are the best. Thank you so much. Hi.
Thanks for saying that we're not content creators, because I feel like I've been striving to give content that I've been seeing content creators.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's super normal though. I mean, like most of us got on social media. I mean, it's there to create content. It's like it's very, very normal. Like I would encourage, if anybody struggles with that, if you need like to de-cleanse, I'd recommend unfollowing the influencers that you currently follow for a season, so that it shifts up your algorithm, and then start following more marketers. And then your discovery feed and you're in that little, I don't know what the other feed is called, where it got a bunch of everybody. Like, I have to do that every now and again. My friends get kind of pissed off. They're like, why do you unfollow me? I'm like, girl, I can text you, but I need to curate my feed better. So thank you for reflecting that back. It's tough. Yes. Y'all are marketers, baby. Okay, you a business owner, honey.
What would your advice be to somebody who wants to do both? Like having work-life balance and having a passion for social media outside of having a business. Like, can you do them both, or do you have to make like your entire life one or the other?
So is the question I'm hearing you ask is, how do you balance the love of actually creating content and that creative expression with also being a business owner and not burning out doing both? Yeah. First thing I would do is look at your data. So like whenever we have clients that do both, the first thing I tell them to do is it actually harming your sales right now? Like, is doing both causing confusion to your prospects? And that's the first thing that I would start at. If it's like, yes, people are coming to me, they don't know if I should be, you said weightlifting or fitness, but like, I don't know if you're a fitness coach or if you do lashes. If it's causing confusion, that's when I would take a moment to like, let me pause and reevaluate. And then I would maybe shift from being 50-50. Do you want more lash clients, or is the fitness stuff more of just like your personal lifestyle, or is that actually a business too? personal, okay, I would just shift to do like 80-20. So I would maybe, like, I don't think, at the end of the day, you're still human. I'm finding this balance even for myself after 7 years of doing this. I have a really difficult time. I think I'm very like vulnerable and open. People don't even know when I have a dog. They don't know I'm, got a husband. Like, I forget to show my life. So I think it's have a balance, but if right now if you're doing 50-50 and it's causing confusion, up the lash stuff to maybe 80% and drop down the fitness stuff to 20, or change the placement. So like when we think about real estate on social media platforms, there's newsfeed content, there's stories, there's live stream, there's subscriber content, like there's reels versus carousels. Maybe you can just change up the format. Like maybe you do more of your, like I do more of my personal lifestyle stuff in my stories, not my feed. But 80% of my feed is business, 20% of my feed is personal. Now if I go to my stories, 80% of my stories is personal, 20% is business. So I would just I would play with your ratios and also play with placement. But you don't have to get rid of one or the other, just be intentional with those two pieces of real estate and also the frequency. Does that make sense? Okay, cool beans. Yep, I think, we got one more, cool. Yep, last one. Oh. At least 90 days, like bare minimum. So this is where my engineer hat comes on. I want you guys to like think back to when you guys were in science class and you did little labs. And I want you to, if you're like, okay, which lead generation strategy should I use? I want you to do a test. So for 90 days, I'm gonna test going all in on organic content, for example. I want you to know what your current baseline is. Currently, right now, I'm getting 1 new client a month from my Instagram. I'm gonna double down on Instagram. I'm gonna my current frequency of posting is twice a week, and I'm getting 1 client a month. I'm going to test increasing my content to 5 times a week and see how that impacts the number of new clients that I'm enrolling. Know what your baseline data is that you're measuring against. Do it for 30 days, for 90 days. Every 30 days, check in and be like, okay, the first variable that I'm testing, I'm gonna increase the frequency of how much I'm posting. How does that impact maybe leads booking, but or reaching out or sending me a DM, even if they're not converting? And measure the data of the performance over the 90 days. And I think what ends up happening with most people is like, I'm gonna do this, and then they get in like 2 weeks and it's like, it's not working. And it's like, well, what are we measuring against? And if we don't know what we're measuring against, all we're measuring against is our like emotional state. And we all know how that can go. Not great. Our feelings are not facts. So I would look at what are the facts of my situation right now? What is the data that I'm getting? How many new clients am I getting based off of what output? After 90 days, I'm going to test these 2 or 3 variables. How does that impact it? At the end of the 90 days, look at the test. If there was improvement, keep going. Even if it was incremental, even if you went from 1 to 2, okay, 2 is still better than 1. If I did it another 90 days, what would happen? Because that consistency has a compound effect. It's the same way if you invest in a stock market, invest in a 401k, there's a compound effect that happens when we consistently do something over a long period of time.
What's that C word?
What, consistency or compound? I care about y'all compounding. Some of y'all are consistently inconsistent. So consistency is right, but like if we are consistently trying something new every week, it's like, no wonder I always apply it to dating. If you are dating Joe on week 1, and you out with Mark on week 2, and you out with Tyrell on week 3, and it's like, why am I not, finding love? It's like there's no depth. You always out here trying to get free meals. Like, well, I'm gonna call it what it is, okay? So I know I'm at time, but if you guys have any more questions, just send me a DM. I read all and respond to all of my DMs. And I'll be hanging around a little bit too afterwards. So just thank you guys so much for having me, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.